Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working on the Nechromancer's Guide to Dolls. Some things occurred last time, most notably me giving up on trying to make the combo system work. I did have this, the setup and knockdown thing. I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. This should be really easy to do. And it just wasn't working. The math wasn't there. And the main reason the math wasn't there, mostly, well, there's two reasons. Like, it came to the point where there was the only, correct option was to do that just repeatedly because there was no downside really to it. So it didn't really feel like those cinematic I'm going to do this big setup. I'm going to do this big knockdown. Like, that's what I was aiming for. And that's what I wanted. These big moments of setting up and knocking down. They just didn't. They didn't work the way I was thinking they would. They just weren't adding up. And when they were, getting there to set up to be correct, it would just fail. Something would just fall apart. So I'm like, okay, that isn't going to work. So I just scrapped the entire thing, and I'm going to pretty much put it on we can just say fuck it for now. It can't hurt me if I make it go away. Remember that, everybody. So, what are we doing today, though? Well, today is arguably, and today and Friday are arguably going to be probably some of the more contentious aspects of the game, of this one, of the Nechromancer's Guide, because these ones are going to be the special orders, otherwise known as taking Nechronica and making it something else, otherwise known as yeeting the dolls away. Now, Nechronica has a very unique relationship with the dolls. Now, personally, I think the dolls are very appropriate for the game, the story that it's trying to tell people. It's trying to be a game about the loss of innocence. It's supposed to be a game about something that is calming and, something we had naturally assumed to be, something to be protected, being, horribly ripped apart. However, two things. One, Ryo Kamiya, is a fucking weirdo. And I've said this repeatedly throughout this series, and I will continue to say it, but Ryo is a weird dude. And some of his particulars are sometimes a little bit complicated to go through, and so it will turn people off. Which was arguably one of the main things I wanted to do here in the Nechromancer's Guide, was address those and being like, if you want to pitch this to your friends, this is an easier way to do it. Or here are some options to increase your Nechronica campaign, or add some things, or make your life a little bit easier. That's kind of the point. Like, that was kind of the entire idea of the game, was to add in some more stuff to allow you to enhance the experience if you so wish. Now. This gets a little bit complicated because there's again, it's the one aspect of Nechronica that's kind of ever present, something that always looms over it, that being what the dolls are. Now, the dolls in Nechronica are often usually it's early, like late teenager to even possibly like upper single digits age girls, and there's reasons for that, and they say like in lore the reason is like the necromancers want to like pretty much keep something completely innocent. However, the main reason is because Ryo is a fucking weirdo, and that's what sells in Japan, by the way. Like, I'll never forget that anime girls will always sell more than anything else in Japan. And so, kind of combining all that together, you have probably one of the most complicated aspects of Nechronica to pitch to anybody, which is the fact that it has lollies in it, and those lollies are canon, mind you. Those are things that are baked into the setting as a inescapable force. Now, some of the people in the Nechronica like fan community, the guys who actually like translate stuff and want to introduce people to this, they have a very complicated time with kind of wrapping their heads around it. Some of the more like bigger names, quote unquote, they have a very bad time of even understanding that, hey, you don't need, like, this is weird to a lot of people. Like, that's something that is really difficult to get over. It might be the coolest fucking thing, and I always say it's the coolest fucking thing you've never played, but people see the cover and are immediately like, nope, can't do it. Or they try to pitch something that some people are just going to be immediately turned off to it. You can usually pitch it to people who are a little bit more forward, let's just say, with it, and then people are gonna be like, yeah, you know what, I can do this, this is easy. And other people are going to be a little bit more accepting, other people aren't, like, just straight up. Some people are just going to say absolutely not, I don't want to do this. And that was actually arguably the original idea of the Nechromancer's Guide to Dolls, was somebody actually wanted to pay me money to almost rewrite the entire game, the entirety of Nechronica, into a mecha game. That's what they wanted me to do. They wanted to pay me money to rewrite the game. And I was very apathetic on the matter, but I understood why. I understand completely why. Like this is not pitching Nechronica is not easy to anybody, and people who think that it is easy are completely bizarre people. They're people you probably don't want around your kids, kind of thing, because they're autistic. However, that guy never paid me, so fuck him. Now, what this entire section is going to be about alternate dolls, effectively. They're going to be dolls using kind of the same framework of things, of like, this is ultimately, all of these are going to be about the exploration of innocence. That's one of the key ideas, the exploration of innocence. The default dolls are about the loss of innocence. They are about, we are kind and good and noble things that are pure in this horrible world, and what happens. How does something pure and good get gradually morphed into something that is not pure and good? And that, and how do they maintain their purity? How do they maintain their nobility? The others, and if I scroll down a little bit, these are the four that I have. Now, the four I have, abominations are going to be pretty much about the the concept of, can something that does not want to exist and who experiences pain find peace effectively with itself? How do you, as an amalgamation of things, how do you find peace with yourself? And because all an abomination is going to be a mass amount of parts just thrown together. And that's what it is. You are a gigantic, awful sludge monster that is a barely functional entity that is going insane. That's just going insane of what you are, but also is trying to keep yourself who you are, or whatever, or trying to forge an identity yourself. The robotic entities are kind of the same way the dolls, but approach a little bit different. Where the dolls are, well, we're trying to search for something. We're trying to search for purpose. The robots have like, this is my purpose, but do I exist? I think, if I, am I? Kind of playing off the I think therefore I am. It's I think therefore am I? Question mark. Like, it's trying to find those identities and forging those fetters, because you aren't really thinking all that clearly. You're slowly going mad with the idea of that you are a function, like you are a robotic entity who can think and do. Are you a slave to your programming, or are you a thinking individual? The non-human auxiliary troops, that's actually based entirely off a single replay where the characters are all bonobos or bonobos, which are monkeys effectively, and it's played straight. It's played completely straight in that one. However, that one, the idea is going to be mostly around pretty much almost the exact same as Necronica's. It's just that instead of little girls, it's, you are animals, because animals are inherently innocent sometimes. They don't understand fully what's going on, and the relationships they form are something a little bit more complicated. And having that very non-human and that non-human perception mixed with these horrifying things makes you something more or something less. That's kind of the tragedy of them. Finally, we have Battalion Z. Battalion Z, I'm kind of flipping it on its head, because what I want to be is that these people are clearly adults. They are far more capable than the dolls. The only issue is that they're going to die, that they are on a timer. And that timer is always ticking down. You're always breaking apart. Things stop working, and slowly and steadily, you're going to find yourself unable to continue effectively. And it's just that lingering willpower to get people to safety or do something. as a member of Battalion Z, as an adult, your entire purpose is to pretty much do something and to facilitate these kind of other stories. Is that you are a walking, you are a walking apocalypse. However, you don't have much time. Every session you're ticking down, and you kind of want to like the core idea is like all the rest of them want to save themselves. Like that's one of the big things in Nechronica is running away is a completely valid option. If case things are going really bad, don't be, annihilation is bad. However, Battalion Z, what I want them to be like is that they don't want to run away because they have no other purpose. Their innocence is already gone. They don't need it anymore, and they're replacing it with I'm becoming a better person by finding your peace. It's like for the last moments in my own life, I have found purpose. That's kind of one of the big ideas of Battalion Z. Uh, those are kind of my ideas for them, and it's kind of about making it work. That's gonna be the hard part. So let's get to it, and that should remind me. So what we want to do is okay. So Nechronica, Ryo Kamiya is a weird dude. Hello, phone. Ryo Kamiya is a weird dude. As a Japanese artiste, actually, it would be where is yeah, he's an artiste. As a Japanese artiste, he has I know it would be auteur. You can fucking spell that. There we go. Auteur. As a Japanese author, developer has a few unique quirks about his works. Kamiya is actually Kamiya's games frequently touch on subjects of innocence, and the loss thereof. Whether it's growing up in Golden Sky Stories, becoming a better maid in the Maid RPG, or simply growing in power. In Zettai. Actually, it should be growing in power in Zettai Rido, or trying to remain sane in Drakurug. Thereof. Whether it's growing up in Golden Sky Story, becoming a better man, a mayor or two, growing into the power that ever be remaining sane. Drakurug. Nechronica is no different. As actually should say Kamiya forces you and your mind down a mind and your sanity down a mind-bending adventure in a hopeless future with characters who our minds naturally assume innocence. innocence, and goodness. Dolls are often portrayed as girls, young girls. Young girls. This is also one of Ryo's quirks. Kamiya's quirks. As he enjoys his youthful appearances as seen in ZR and Maid. And ZR and Maid, he has explained his tastes before, and I will not delve into them. But Nechronica is always defined by that particular quirk. So he's explained his taste before, I don't delve into them, but Nechronica always been defined by that particular quirk. Nechronica is frequently referred to as the Necrololly game. The Necrololly game, which is not entirely accurate, but is also completely spot on. Because that's what the game is. It's the Necrololly game. There's nothing wrong with that statement. Like, that's the problem with it. There's nothing wrong with calling it the Necrololly game, because that is a completely accurate statement. Which is not entirely accurate, but it's also completely spot on. This is a major bugbear to many, with people outright refusing to even look at the game due to its particular quote look. There have been attempts. Actually, however, the Nechronica has been used for more than undead Lolita fan fiction. Am I going to have to define Lolita? Let's... Yeah, okay, yeah. 1955, notable for its Yeah, okay, there we go. All I'm saying is, am I going to have to literally cite this book? In this, yes, I am going to have to cite this book, and I am going to cite it, and I am going to explain what the fuck a lolly is in the most clinical, like, dull way possible. Let's see, the Chronicle has been used for more, including a full replay, Japanese written retelling of a session or campaign, including a full replay of playing bonobos. Is it bonobos? Bonobos. Monkey. Of playing bonobo dolls, and I'm gonna have to put a footnote in endangered great ape species dolls, Mad Max dolls, and one dedicated to playing as resurrected as resurrected old men. Resurrected Oji-sans. Older men. I actually, you know what? I'm gonna do a quick run. The Necrololly game, which Nechronica and mind bending. I don't know why it does this. Like it wants to put like a space in between them, but that's not quite how. And it always fixes itself afterwards. Let's see. Let's see, it's going to do that. I don't need that. I'm just going to do that, and it's fine. Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot. I added Nechronica to my fucking dictionary on this, so... Bonobo. Bonobo Nechronic. I wonder if I can find it. Bonobo. What the fuck? Oh, is this it? We're on Pixiv, everybody. Ah, yes, this is correct. So, this is one of the replays. This was one of the replays where the characters were quite literally monkeys. They were bonobos. This is just who they were. It was a full replay and everything, and I was immensely fascinated by it. And that reminds me, what I need to do is, do we have a name? Hello, phone. Let's go put a name. I'm gonna put this right here real fast just so I remember. Bonobo. 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 This actually is not a terrible site to grab some artwork for this. I gotta remember this. But... oh god, it's Japanese Spider-Man. So we want to do this, and we're going to actually put this right here. This is something that was sold in stores, by the way. Like, you can buy this book. Which is Bonovox. Bonobos. Which I'm going to do... I'm going to have to do a direct Romanji translation of this, but I'm going to put this in here just for now, just so I know that who it is. And integrate species. So, let's see. This section is dedicated to the efforts. Is to the effort of playing a game of Nechronica that isn't involving girls who happen to look fairly young. Let's see. Fairly young. This is also all of these. No, this is the thing. All of these are also. All of these should be capable of forming a mixed group, allowing for traditional dolls. Battalion Z, an abomination, and a dog with a gun strapped to it, Battalion Z, an abomination, and a dog with a gun strapped to it to adventure across the world. Yeah, actually, I should say is a toaster with a knife, and a dog with a gun strapped to it to adventure. There we go. This is all we need. Okay. You will never be as happy as this ape right now. Whose minds naturally assume innocence. Dolls are portrayed as girls. Young girls. See, now the best part is what I get to do now is I get to go here. Monkey! And post monkey! Everything is on fire. Yeah, begone, monkey. Yeah, there are a few of these. See, this is one of those things, like, I really wish that there was a lot, like, there was an easier way of doing translation work. But we have not hit the point where machine translation is reliable for Japanese. And I have a strange and beautiful feeling we never will hit that point. Simply because of how the Japanese language is constructed. What would need to occur there, actually? To actually, here's the thing. No, this is a little side tangent. Because I see a lot of people ask, like, why isn't this translated already? And, you know, they start making unga bunga noises. Like, I don't think people understand how, like, complicated some of the, like, Asiatic languages can get sometimes when it comes to, like, translating them. This isn't even just the symbols and things. That's its own complicated nightmare. But, like, you have a lot of, I want to say, curious case situations, as well as words that can be used in different contexts, and they change everything. And then you have, like, here in the West and in, like, the US and English part in particular, you have things such as hello. Hello is not really a thing in Japan or in China. You have Ohio, you have very specific contexts of various hellos. And you have very specific contexts for goodbyes. Those are all separate words because they all mean something. You have the good morning hello, you have a good morning formal hello, you have a goodbye in the evening hello, and then you have like a hello among friends. It's Ohio gozaimasu, and it's it is OHA YO, is it Ohio? I used to know these things perfectly because I was a fucking weeb. But, like, Ohio gozaimasu is different from Ohio. You don't say Ohio to your boss. Like, you say Ohio gozaimasu. Like, even things like sayonara have, like, very specific context. And this is just with, like, basic greetings. Now, picture that with rules. It gets really complicated. Pretty much what will have to occur is that the Chinese will have to effectively make a system to rapidly translate their own language. Is a weeb. Is. Like, what I mean by, like, the Chinese have to do it, because, like, a lot of Asian languages are based around Chinese in one way or another. Hate to break it to everybody, but that's just, like, a thing. But when the Chinese develop a way to rapidly translate something to English, then it can be applied to different languages. However, the Chinese also don't want to do that. There's no incentive for them to do that because they want to spread Sinoism. Like, the Chinese really want you to learn Chinese. Fun fact, kids. Like, they want you to learn that. That's what the Chinese want you to do, because the Chinese want you to learn it so that then they know you know it. Like, that's why they effectively want to do what English is to the rest of the world. Like, people in Scandinavia, people in the middle of fuck all nowhere Scandinavia can speak English. The people in, Russia can speak English. People in Turkey can speak English. People in Japan can speak English. Because English is such a universal language at this point. It's not because it's easy, it's because it's the lingua franca of business. It's business, it's academic, it's... I have all of these various, very important Yeah, and I have a string, and I bet you dimes for dollars there, Mr. Y, that they is sponsored by a company, is sponsored by a thing called the Confucius Institute, because that is what we had here. It's what the Chinese really want to do, and this was like back. This is some history left. This is a little bit of note lore for everybody. Back in college, there was the Confucius Institute, and that was where all the Chinese students went. Yeah, the Confucius Institute is a Chinese government owned, not really owned, but it's like a Chinese government program that pretty much is there to teach Chinese, to influence Chinese, to bring Chinese culture, and do a bunch of these other things. That's what they're literally paid to do. And it was like a known fact there that the Chinese students had to report into the Confucius Institute usually every month or so. And that's where they would always go. Like if something like they needed help with something, they would go to the Confucius Institute first. And they had like special advisors sometimes, and they had like special things. And if you wanted to do like I could have taken a Chinese course in just about anything because the Confucius Institute sponsors a shit ton of Chinese courses. Like the Confucius Institute was such a major power in our school. They had a lot of influence, but they also helped, it was Chinese movie nights. There was Chinese, like how to cook Chinese food. They rented out theaters all the time. They like sponsored entire classes. It was insane. I almost took a few classes through them. I really should because China's very fascinating. I actually really enjoy Chinese culture. It's very, very, very interesting. Very interesting place. Battalion Z is adults. That's all that is. Specifically adults. So let's get started. And see, you know what that reminds me? I should actually yell at. I'm going to do that now before I forget because I'm going to forget. No, I'll do it tonight. I'll do it tonight because I know that's when he shows up. There's a guy at one of the servers I'm in. And one of the people, I don't think he's from China, but I think he's from the area around China. I think he's from like Taipei or something. And yeah, like, that is what they want to do, Mr. Wa. They want you to learn Chinese. Yeah, no, they want you to do all that. They want you to go there, and they want you to. And I bet those trips were really nice. By the way, like I do bet you those trips were very nice, but you were also on a very tight leash. I just want to make a wild guess because that's my friend did that. He went to Beijing, and they said they put him on like a very tight leash. Like he was not allowed to do jack shit. But he was also a filthy American, so he was also a tanky, which I thought was funny. So abominations. Ah, yes, the beautiful Tiananmen Square where nothing occurred. Don't ban me, Twitch. I'm a good boy. See, I'm weird. I would love to go. See, I would love to go to China. That's actually one of the things I want to do in my life. I want to go to China, and most specifically, I want to go to Manchuria because I would love to go to Manchuria. Very interesting history up there. So abominations. I should put developer. No, okay. Necromancers need shock troops and need shock troops in their endless conflicts. These things are barely, actually, no, how do I want to word this? Gore is life. An abomination is born of gore. Is born of gore and will die in gore. They are unthinking, unknowing, and barely put together monsters of flesh, wires, and metal. To be an abomination is to be a tool of war or a leftover disaster in the waiting. Disaster from the old world. Many abominations. Many abominations die under their own weight. Oh, wait. Snoozed! So, let's see, actually. Okay. Many abominations die under their own weight, barely able to function. Function with all of their parts. Only to have their heart kick-started. Yeah, honestly, there is a degree of joy mutants. Not quite joy mutants, though. Not quite joy mutants. He's like, the idea behind an abomination, in my head, anyway, is that you are an amalgamation of parts. You are pretty much what the traditional game would be classified as like a major villain. Like you're a major thing of something just being just a mass bits of parts of metal, of wires that someone just rolls out with a gun attached to it, being like, yeah, go on and kill something already. Like, you are barely human. Like, and dude, you're not even human at that point. Like, you barely kind of comprehend that your own humanity. That's kind of one of the bigger issues. Only to have their heart kick-started by an immediate shock from a long-forgotten internal system. But you're different. Perhaps it was a slip of the knife. A spark hitting the wrong nerve, or maybe, I can actually spell, maybe it was just cruel fate that made you think. Your mind races with 1,000 others. Like that Meat Mecha war game. To a degree. And trust me, I'm not looking forward to Flesh Mech Annihilator. I'm not looking forward to that. I have a plan for that. I want to get that at least somewhat done by the end of the year. It's going to be fun. Your mind races with 1,000 different thoughts until the cacophony until the cacophony silences to a single chorus. Your soul is stitched together. Your mind, your psyche is connected to the greater world. Your body in an amalgamation of the forgotten and unwanted. You are born of gore, and you will find your purpose. Find your purpose or die trying. Because I'm going to have cacophony is still one of my favorite words. It's up there with adjudicator, because adjudicator is a fun word just to say. Adjudicator. Let's see. So, and next we have to do the developer note. So developer note. Developer note. Abominations are a combination of parts of basic and reinforcement parts. Combination of basic and reinforcement parts. Their main story could be their main story is reflected in both their madness and desire to find purpose in a world where they are disposable. Abominations are often solid. Abominations find comfort in the little memories that form their mind. However, each of these are separate and mostly opposed. Each clawing at one another to find some degree of sanity. Abomination in a campaign. In a campaign is a rolling ball. Is a rolling ball of death. Rolling ball of death. But struggle to keep their mind in order. Quickly escalating with their madness or the madness of others. So what I should do is do insert table, this, put the right there. So on abominations. Okay, so we'll slap an image right there. Next, we have to get to our parts, how this game is actually played. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to open up Nechronica here real fast. We're going to go to sci-fi post-apocalypse. We're going to open up Nechronica. Nechronica. Okay, let's do a quick double check. So, what we need to do, roughly speaking, we don't need the timeline anymore. So, doll's creation, body of a doll. So, what we need to do is... we don't really need to worry about these three. I'm going to probably do these in between. Okay, these are sample characters. Hello, sample characters. You're all very nice. Alright, so doll creation. So fragments of memory. Cool. They don't have fragments of memory, so what we need to do is abomination creation. Actually, so I need to do fragments of... actually, no. Fragments of psych. So, let's see. The abomination's mind is filled with the screams of... let's see. The abomination's mind is filled with the screams of their collective parts. Each one clawing and desperate to be remembered by a creature who doesn't understand itself. These also these fragments of psych, actually we should say is these fragments of psych operate similar to how the doll's fragments of memory operate. But rather than being solid or understanding, but rather than being tied to it, the abomination must simply interpret the yelling interpret the language of their collective thinking. They will see. The abomination will roll on the fragments of memory table. Every session to see which memory or glimmer of thought bubbles to the surface. Let's see. Dolls know the existence and realize that they themselves are undead. They are also able to guess and animated them. That's literally all the memories, premonitions take place. Oh. I lost a follower. Though I have a feeling somebody got banned. Yeah. Let's see. What am I looking at here? What am I thinking of? See, there's been a lot of people who've been getting banned recently, so I find that. See, a lot of people have been getting banned recently since the, I don't really know why, but just people just getting banned for saying shit they really shouldn't. It's like, oh, you can't say, like, I'm gonna get banned for this, but I can't say cracker on Twitch anymore. Someone got banned for saying that as a slur. I'm like, no human being refers to cracker as a slur. Like, so I wouldn't be surprised if someone just followed and or they're just lost it, or they just are cleaning out their list. I mean, I'm not exactly a priority for many. What am I looking at here? The abomination will roll in the fragments of memory table every session to see which memories of glimmers of thought bubbles to the surface. Function of premonition. Acquire lost memories. I only get vague suspicion of these memories. Okay. What we have to do though is building a true self. Building a true self. The abomination through their adventures or through their journey will be forced to confront their fragmented soul and slowly piece it together. To silence the voices in their mind. Actually no. When finding, actually, what should be when finding or understanding fragments of memories. The abomination is allowed to internalize it, making it a part of the abomination's true identity. These internalized beliefs and ideas form the basis for a personality for the creature. As they continue their journeys, they may be forced to decide upon to follow their heart, the hearts, or listen to the parts that comprise their body. Who is the real you? So yeah, the abomination's main thing, like they're driving. Oh, I have a second. No, hello. It's the driving fact of the abomination is that you are always trying to build who you are. You're slowly and steadily trying to create a personality from a combination of thousands of personalities. When you have little fragments of parts of your body are trying to tell you different things, and each one of them is slightly different. Everyone's screaming at you at once, but it's you like carving out pieces that make you you. You might take a little bit from Bob the salary man, who is just this permanently depressed asshole. Everyone knows it, but he also has these really fond memories of his dog. But you may also take a little bit of personality from, Miss Yui over here, lovely housewife, with a really bad tendency toward, to, forget things. And you're just taking these little pieces and parts of a personality from other people to forge your own. And I want that to be like a major thing. And it's you're kind of building this personality from dirt effectively, and it's like, well, this is who I am. That's kind of your end goal, is to become a person, not a person necessarily, but to become a thing. So we want to do positions. So positions, the abomination and take any of the positions that a regular doll can. However, if there are a mixed group, if there is a actually if in a mixed group, the abomination cannot be a sorority, court, or Alice. Actually, no. A sorority or court. They simply don't under the rest of your companions simply don't understand your squelching noises that you refer to as speaking, because that's one of the big things, that you may not have like a ability to speak properly. So it's like, yeah, you squelch at things. So it's like, yeah, I can't really be a sorority because sororities are supposed to lead. We should say is, I'm going to put companions, abominations that are built together. Will work together. There is often a degree of similarity to situation or understanding between them. Abominations can psychically link with one another for a moment, interpreting the pulsating movements and wet slapping noises as actual language. The other abominations in mixed groups serve a particularly odd function as both a pet and a trusted companion. The others may not understand them, but they have at least a simplistic understanding of what their companions are saying and want. The idea being that in a mixed group, an abomination is pretty much just this horrifying beast that just like slithers around and makes horrifying squelching noises every now and again, and everyone's terrified of them. Everyone is scared shitless of them. However, the catch being, is that they are also able to listen to orders pretty well, and that you can influence them because guess what? They're a regular person. Like, they can still think and understand you, but you can't understand them. So, this leads me to class. So, class, abominations can be of every class. However, they do gain +2, let's say you can play +1 to every reinforcement part. As they gain +1 to every reinforcement part of each. Actually, no. Abominations can be of every class, but are often Baroque, Gothic, or Thanatos. Baroque, Gothic, or Thanatos. No, it'd be psychedelic, or Thanatos. skills. So skills. Each abomination has has two skills unique to them. Has two skills unique to them in addition to their standard starting skills from their classes and position. So we need to put you right there. 3 fragmented, internalize, abominations, compromise. Positions, guess what? It's going to be heading 3. Let me just make sure that's correct. That is correct. I do know what I'm doing, I think. Heading 3, abomination, interpret to the situation, abominations, and a mix. Simplistic, or at least have this and classes be this, and then skills would be the same here. However, let me just do this real fast. There we go. And next we have to do the skills. So we need to go to drive. Owie. So let's go to the guide to dolls, the Untitled spreadsheet. I believe this was the skill. Yeah, these were the skills, so I'm going to do that, and so we've got this. Let's zoom into 200. I didn't mean to go 200. We're going to go 250 instead. So what would be the good skills for the abomination? What we're going to do is absorption. Actually, abomination unique. And that's going to be a timing, call it a timing, no, it's, how do I want to word this? This is going to be timing. Okay, no. The timing damage is going to cost, 1. It's going to be a range 0. So, when the abomination were to deal damage, and actually when the abomination performs when an enemy when the enemy fails a dismember check. Dismember check. When an enemy fails a dismember check, make a check. Make a check. If successful, the abomination laps up and devours the severed part. They regenerate one basic part, or one reinforcement part. One reinforcement part. They assign one madness point to a fetter. Gore is life. There we go. Pretty much abominations are supposed to be able to absolutely just tank things. Actually poor, what would be... Ramshackle parts. No, it's what would be a good one to just be like randomly assigned stuff. Actually, no, that's a good one. Randomly mismatched toys, abomination unique, and this is going to be damage. This is going to be on timing. Would be diming damage. It's going to cost 2. Range is going to be self. So when it's going to be defend 2. Defend 2. If the abomination takes damage, they may choose to. Actually, no. It's going to be cost effect, and it's going to be a little bit different. So when the abomination takes damage, they can spend 2 AP to gain defend 2. However, when hit, if they still take damage, they may freely choose what is destroyed. Actually, we won't say 4 AP to gain defend 2. If they still take damage, may freely choose what is destroyed. With the idea being that we're doing this correctly, the idea would be that you are not. How am I seeing this? I can see it in my head. I know what I'm doing. What am I seeing? 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 See, the idea would be that you are such a ball of stuff that it's impossible to really hit anything in particular. You're not really hitting legs or your body or anything like that. You take 3 damage, it's like you just gotta choose which parts of you just get ripped apart, because guess what? That's what you're made of. Yeah, okay, so absorb into being in mismatched toys. You make a check, so you have your 2 skills, paste unlinked. Gore is life. A poorly stitched together monster cares little for pain. They embrace it. Okay, next we got to worry about this, which is going to be, we don't need to do function of skill, reinforcement parts. So reinforcement parts. The abominate, actually, Actually, I should do parts and basic parts and reinforcement parts. The abomination is a collection of random bits and pieces. Rather than a fully functional entity. Being such, the let's see, it's a collection of random bits and pieces rather than a fully functional entity. Being such, the parts assigned to the abomination do not obey traditional rules. So basic parts. They're going to have 3 bones. It's going to be 3 bones, 3 entrails. Actually, no. Do not obey traditional rules. The abomination needs to freshly purchase some standard, actually additional basic parts. Additional basic parts in addition to their reinforcement parts. They can, however, reinforcement part. There we go. So, but they have no traditional limit on any of them. Multiple Yep. So pretty much you can just pick a bunch of things that whatever you want and go for it. I cannot stop you. So I need to double check. So basic parts 103. So basic parts. What is absolutely necessary? I think the absolutes. Actually, gotta double check real fast. Actually, these are their basic parts. So, God, I always hate it when they. What are the basic parts? What are the basic parts? Actually, I need to go here. Let's go to Amalia, because Amalia has all her basic parts in check already, so I don't really got to worry about that. Hello, Amalia. Hello, my dear. We'll go to page 2. So, actually, so it would be, you have your brain, eyeballs, jaw as your basic parts here. And you need just a fist, forearm, shoulder. And in your thing is you have spine, entrails times 2. And then in your legs, you have bone times 2, and then your foot. All right. So, what is absolutely mandatory here? They have no traditional limits on any basic parts needed in addition to the reinforcement parts. They have no traditional limits on any of them. In Abomination begins with the following. They begin with a brain. That's it. They begin with a brain. 2 times entrails, and bone. That's literally it. They have brain, entrails, bone. That's all you're really composed of. And a bone. They also begin with, it's going to be a grand total of 5 additional basic parts of their choice. So you can, in theory, choose, I want to play an abomination. So I want to play an abomination, and I'm going to start with a brain, entrails times 2, and a bone, and I'm going to choose 5 parts that I want. Well, I think I want to have another entrails. I want to have a second bone because bones are useful. So I'm going to have a jaw. And I'm going to invest in you know what? I think I'm going to invest. You're going to be amazed by this. I think I'm going to invest in a actual spine. So that's 1, 2, 3 spine. And because I like spines so much, and you know what? Because I like brains a lot, I'm gonna have a second brain. There we go. As you can tell, I have no arms. I have no arms, and I currently have no eyes. That's just something I just do not have in this character. So that's welcome to being a flesh abomination. You have let's see, 5 additional basic parts of their choice of any type of any type. And I'm gonna have to put a developer note in there. So yeah, you're gonna start with a brain, 2 entrails, 1 bone, and the rest is entirely up to you. Cool. There we go. Put the bump and begins 5 additional basic parts of any of what they of their choice of any type. Reinforcements. Reinforcements are the same. Same as a doll. However, each abomination may put 2 points, 2 additional, I should say 2 additional point reinforcements into any category they wish. Any category they wish. So technically you could say, well, I want to put 2 more into armaments, so I want to put 2 more into this. Into any category that they wish. So you got a little bit, actually no, we should do 3, because sometimes this may be the only thing that you're allowed to do. Because, yeah. So we're going to put this right here. We want to do heading 3, reinforcements. Because remember, you still have to understand that, like, the reason you start with a jaw and a fist, 2 bones, and like a shoulder and stuff like that, that's there for a reason. And the reason it's there is because it's actually kind of hard to fully annihilate a doll sometimes. Like, as long as you can move or attack, you're not annihilated. And like even just like a base doll with no actual like ability to like no reinforcement parts is you have to destroy their jaw, you have to destroy their shoulder, you have to destroy both bones in their body, which takes a time. It takes a little bit of time because you can destroy entrails, you can destroy eyeballs, your brain, it takes time sometimes to get rid of a traditional doll just due to how the mechanics work, and that's a reason for it. Because you don't want to like immediately lose your doll in 5 seconds, because that would suck. Person. However, I should put on developer note. Not taking eyes may seem like a good idea at first. To take a second brain, but hey, you didn't really need to see where you're going, right? Like everyone doubts the value of like the basic parts until you don't have them, and when you don't have them is when you need them the most. So reinforcements act the exact same. Ow. My glasses are getting dirty now. can finally see again. So, developer no, not taking eyes I see, but hey, you don't really need those. We're here coding, right? Function of, and then these are going to act the exact same. At most, you're going to end up with, because you get to add in, you add both your classes together, and then you add in +1. At most, you're going to be able to get 7, which is going to be actually kind of odd. But if you hit 7, that is you dumping literally all your points into one category, which may or may not be a good idea depending on how you want to play. It'd be funny though. Treasures. So we have treasures. Actually, they wouldn't have treasures, would they? They would have, oh yeah, a force of will. The abominations do not have a treasure. They instead have actually no, they don't. Do not have a treasure. The abominations do not have a treasure, and as such cannot place madness on a treasure, or have it damaged. Abominations do not have a treasure, and such cannot place madness on a treasure or have it damaged. However, they also don't enjoy the benefits of it. Yeah, you don't enjoy the benefit of it, unfortunately. Sorry, everybody. Fetters. Okay, now the fetters are the odd ones. So fetters. Though your doll is completely in one section, she left unfilled. These are fetters. Exit the claw by remaining. So the abomination has their fetters as normal. With one exception. They have the let me just they have the possessive of mind. Actually no, it would be devoted to the voices. They were devoted to the voices. Let's see. They were devoted to the voices fetter, reflecting their reliance on the voices in their head. In their head to guide their path and find their destiny. Let's see. Have their fetters as normal, with one exception. They have devoted to the voices fetter. Let's see. Instead of dependent upon treasure. Let's see. Every time the abomination internalizes a memory or belief, they may actually remove all the madness on the devoted to the voices fetter. Feather reflecting them, being able to silence at least a voice in the grand orchestra. So feathers, it's actually feathers with others, with other companions. Feathers with other companions can be a bit complicated. However, these are reflected by your by your perception of them as people, and comparing them to yourself. Am I literally going to put in this line? Yes, I am. So, give me 1 second. What's going on? What's up? Oh, goodness. Nope. Let's see. Oh no, someone's sick. Let's. Oh goodness. It's never a good sign when people are sick. Let's see. And comparing them to yourself. So let me just do trusting, idle. No, protective. Let's see. Subservient. Unease, pity, love, hate, regret, disdain, anger, grudge, hatred. So, offenders with comparing yourself to them. The abomination can use any of the fetters, including those of a neutral party. Because, yeah, you may not even really comprehend that these are like actual people. You may just think they're just things over there that you just follow around and follow close to you. You just don't quite get it because you're a flesh abomination. So we do that. Parts of the beast. Heading 3. Fetters. Benefits. Do that. That should work. So they have their idea that they're slowly always building up. They don't really have that much in regards to fetters, and they can sometimes get a little bit complicated. What I should do is building the true self, who's the real you. What I should do is if you ever go against your an internalized aspect, or wish to get rid of it, increase the madness on every fetter by one, and everyone increases the madness on their fetter toward you by 1, because you are literally changing who you are, and it's becoming literally me. Don't worry, he's literally me. Seems like a good idea. It's in my eye. Okay, so abominations are Dunios. Feeling pretty good about abominations. I think if we just follow everything, like, I wouldn't say 1-to-1, but just keep a good pace on it, everything should work for abominations pretty smoothly. That just brings me to, we will do robotic entities. Actually, what time is it? How long have I been streaming? About an hour 35. You know, I can do robots, that's fine. Let's do robotic entities. Born of the undead. The undead proved to be a intoxicating asset to the old world, allowing them to quickly draft soldiers and send them to their demise without a care, bringing them back with minimal maintenance, with minimal problem. Automation demanded that these processes become smoother and easier, leading to the birth of a fledgling robotics industry. While these robotic husks, if I can actually fucking spell robotic husks, barely. All these robotic husks barely were able to successfully counter the undead. They did, however, provide ample target practice, ample opportunity to directly influence and protect human assets for a time. At the end of days, these robotic souls rusted away as everything else did. Spark that once gave them life and purpose, going away as humanity did. It's my eye. Give them life and purpose, giving away as humanity did. They however, some reject this little death. The desire to simply fade away is not something that actually the desire to simply fade away goes against their core programming. Something the unending desire to both spite their creator and continue to live drives them forward in this new hell. You are one of those robotic souls. Your mind is circuitry. Your soul dictated by programming. Goddamn fucking fly. By programming and your core pro. What do I want to say? You are one of those robotic souls. Your mind is circuitry. Your soul is dictated by programming, and your no. Actually, no. You're one of those robotic souls. Your mind is circuitry. Your body is metal, and your soul is. Damn, son of a bitch. It's gotten to the point where I'm rubbing my eye so much that it's beginning to itch because I'm rubbing my eye, making me want to rub my eye more. Your body's metal, your soul is your programming. And your soul is programming. Find purpose in this world. And find purpose in this world. Will find purpose in your world is your new core directive. Or are you still a slave to the old world's madness? Nope, that would be heading 2, and the powers would be intoxicated, bringing opportunity, your soul. And I'll just do a side note later. I'll just do that later. So what we need to do is we'll do core programming. Made of metal, right? Wiring and gar. What am I looking at? Okay. Luckily, again, I don't really need to do like too much in regards to this. I just need to follow through. So, core programming, robotic robots. I just want to do robots. No, the robotic husks. Actually, no. Yeah, the robotics. Yeah, the robots. That would be the correct term for it. Robots are robots. Makes a fucking spell. Robots are defined by their core programming. The function that they once served and they have almost a complete understanding of in their hearts. A robot is not subject to memories in the traditional way. They are instead enslaved to this. They're enslaved to this core, into this part of themselves they cannot fully escape. They aren't going to roll fragments of memories. Choose a core program, an aspect about the robot that they will perform. They will perform to the utmost ability and will and drives them forward. This serves as the catalyst to their awakening, as well as their ability to maintain their sanity. Let's see. Example core program. example core programming. Protect. We want to actually protect and serve. Find find hidden objects. Escort the needy. Hunt down a rival. Let's see. Secure a safe place. There we go. And since we don't really need to worry about the memories at all, and like premonition, that's not really a thing. Positions. Robots are able to select all positions with relative ease. However, the position also dictate not only dictates the position not only dictates what role they serve in their group, but also what they are. A court robot is a collection of knowledge and skills. It is a collection of knowledge and skills. It is a collection of knowledge. And a court robot may be a library, a researcher bot, while maybe a researcher assistant bot, while a sorority robot may be a literal commander. Automated command, maybe an automated commander of a long dead regiment. These influence you more than anything else. Companions. So, robots together are often built for a purpose to pursue. And have strong ties to one another. Robots together are built for a purpose and pursue and have strong ties to one another, as they potentially share the same core program among one another. How these are interpreted and the experiences each face will shape them. Base shapes them at a core level. Let's see. Robots in a mixed group take on a unique role as a look into the old world that many struggle to even recall. Members of Battalion Z may fondly recall the days when robots assisted everyone, while the dolls may inquire deeply about the old world, but not understand it or ask the right questions. Which, if you're going to do a mixed group with like a robot and with a bunch of dolls, like the main thing with that one is you need to iterate very specifically. You need to tell them very specifically that robot, and you should tell the robot player that the robot is incredibly smart, but they are also incredibly fucking stupid. You know, like, your computer cannot tell you what you want to know. You have to know what you want, and the computer can give it to you. If you do not understand, like, what to ask, you're not going to get it, which is something that, like, the robot kind of has to understand, and in turn, the dolls need to understand. Being like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, yeah, I'm this entirely hyper intelligent robot. I know exactly everything, and I can probably answer who the fuck you are, but you're not asking the right questions. So no, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, I could vaguely answer what the sky is and why you keep seeing it, but I'm like, yeah, that's not really helpful to anybody. Sorry. Like, oops. Oopsie daisy. May inquire deeply about the old world, but not understand or ask the right questions. Abominations, and what kind of call them? Auxiliaries, and animal auxiliaries, probably don't know what the scary clanking metal thing is. So this leads me to class. So robots are able to adopt almost every class. They are, however, forbidden from taking the psychedelic class or any of their related effects. The robots are fundamentally immune to spirit damage. As they simply don't understand they don't have a soul. As they simply don't understand the lack of having a proper soul. You're not really a real boy. You're not going to Pinocchio your way out of this. No, you are a robot. And they understand that, which is kind of like where their tragedy comes in, which is you're kind of enslaved to this programming of like what you want to do, and it's kind of your belief and what you want to believe of like, do I follow through with this core program, or maybe I don't want to. You know, maybe, you know, the fact that I am pursuing this golden dream is my new purpose, and maybe that's okay. Let's see. Lack of having a soul. Though robots are very rarely gothics or quote true baroques. So skills. The robots are allowed to take the skills. Of their classes as normal, but they gain +1 skill. If I can actually type +1 skill from their position, representing the sheer amount of dedication and ability taking that position entails. Actually, I should do +2 skills. They gain +2 skills from their position, representing the sheer amount of dedication and ability taking that position entails. They cannot, however, gain any more skills from their position. And let me just do a quick double check. Yeah, you can't really take. So you get, I believe you get 2 right off the bat. Yeah, let's see, you get 1 skill. So you're going to get 3 from your position, and there's going to be a couple. Give me 1 second. I need it. Wait. Oh, God. Yeah. Alright, I'm back, everybody. Ready to take on the world. I'm streaming this for 2 fucking hours. I'm tired. Let's see. So, they're going to be play 2 skills from their position, but they aren't going to be really taking it. So, if we do this, I do check the skills out real fast. Because, let's see, we want to do positions and data, filter view, filter 1. So you're getting things like Angel of Eden, Healing, Maiden, Prayer, Princess, Warm Smile. So yeah, these are pretty easy. Like, you're going to get 3. So you're going to get 3 skills in core. So 1, 2, 3. So you're getting about as much. I can probably add another one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to get 7. Do we want to get over half? You know what? I think giving them 4 would be a good idea. I think giving them 4 skills in total is appropriate, because they need just a little bit more of a boost than you would traditionally think. So, reinforcement. So, basic parts and reinforcement parts. Due to robots' metallic nature, and fine tuning of their parts, the robots tend to be more durable and able than the traditional doll. Each robot has the metal plating. Metal plating part on each part of their body. Acting as a basic part. So you're going to be acquiring a few of those, so you're going to be getting a little bit more, but that's fine. Metal plating is literally just going to be each robot has a metal plating part acting as a basic part. The main catch of a robot. Main catch of a robot is two major things. Metallic parts and expensive parts. All parts remain the same, but must adhere to the fact that the robot is a metallic built entity needing to quote refluff certain parts to be more accurate to the robotic shell it now inhabits. So if we do this, we click this. Like, for example, if we go the parts and we want to do filter view, filter 1, you're going to get something like, for example, like animal ears, +1 action points, action check, critical failure doesn't go away. Yeah, you're going to have to fluff that as like you have like robot cat ears. Like, that's going to be the major thing, is like it's going to be a lot of fluffing with it, and it's like you can't take any of like anything that's like a psychedelic or ESP related, you just can't take, because guess what? You're incapable of performing ESP. Like, some of them are pretty easy, like, hey, I have a chainsaw, or hey, I have but like Bone Spear changes a little bit. Like, Bone Spear literally is like you have this giant metallic spike sticking out of you that you stab people with. Bone isn't really a bone, it's more like servos. It's shit like that. It doesn't, like, there aren't major changes, but they just affect you in just little ways. And, like, some of them get a little bit more complicated to kind of address, you could say. Where was the one? Like, hearts and happy pills, sometimes just you're gonna have to reword those a little bit more specifically. Or things like maggots, literally just have to become nanomachines, son. Like, there's a lot of a bunch of little specific things that you need to address that isn't really too complicated. It's just gonna take time, and those get complicated. So we got reinforcement parts. Reinforcement parts pretty much remain all the same. Like, nothing's gonna really change there. You're not gonna get more or less. The main catch is two major things. Finally, a robot must spend double the amount of parts to replace anything at the end of a battle phase. So what does this actually mean? That if we go over here and we find where it is, there's the combat karma favor. Where is it? It's going to be like, I think 130. So we got combat, victory conditions, flow combat, Mattis point. Where is the... Yeah, so what it says, like, oh, you can just get a basic part divided by 4, and it takes one basic part to replace them. It's going to take you 2 basic parts. It's going to take you 2 reinforcement points to get this. You get a little bit more, and you're a little bit more durable, but it's going to take a little bit more. Like, you take some damage, you aren't really recovering that well from it, because you just can't. Because you're a robot, and that's what happens to robots, is you break. Which is, like, the big thing, is, like, you break. And when you break, you don't get back up, usually. Unless you kind of work with your team to say, like, well, maybe it's okay that I don't, restore all my metal plating or something. Maybe it's okay that I don't take don't take a little bit of damage here. It's like, that's something you gotta deal with a robot. You're very enduring, but you still aren't immortal, which is something that you kind of have to always deal with. Let's see. And what this is going to be is and this is going to be metal plating. Metal plating, robot unique. Timing is going to be on damage. It is going to cost 0. It's going to be range self, and we don't really have to worry about connection. And this is going to be a defend 2. Defend 2. It's literally just a free defend 2. This will always be destroyed first when damage is taken. And I should add this in right here. A thick metal is often the only thing between you and your unfortunate recycling plan. Recycling. Thick metal is often the only thing between you and your unfortunate recycling. Actually, what am I doing? I don't need that comma there. That's not how this works. Come on, Notepad, learn your English. I like to put commas every now and again where I really shouldn't, just because it's just easy. and you get a free metal plating everywhere, which is like a kind of a big deal. Like that's it's kind of disgusting, but it's okay to be disgusting because you're a robot and you don't heal well. So core programming, this is going to be heading 3. I know what these are. They're like little tiny fucking fruit flies. They are the most annoying thing. They always come in during this time of year, and they drive me insane. Position, want to do that. Interpreted experiences, battalion Z, auxiliaries, class. We can put you. Can we actually no? We had to put class into its own page along with skills, but skills are fine. Effects, fundamentally. Skills, basic parts, and reinforcement parts, metallic, refluff, represent. Because what they like to do, these little fucking flies, what they like to do is they like to fly very close to me, and they like to fly inside of my glasses, where I react obviously because I don't want fucking little flies next to me in my fucking face because I find them very annoying. I don't actually like bugs very much. It's not like I am scared of bugs, I just don't like them and I don't want to be around them. Hence why I want to move to literally anywhere where I don't have to deal with them at all. But unfortunately, bugs are everywhere. And I've managed to slap a few out of the sky a few times. That's always fun. Let's see. Always damage is taken. So what more parts do we need? We need actually just these two. So what we need to do is we need to address, do these things have treasures? They are going to have treasures, but they're going to be a little bit different. These are going to be these are going to be programming cycle. Actually, no. Reinforced memories. A robot does not have a traditional treasure. Actually, yeah, it does not have a traditional treasure, but instead a major and important set of memories. Memories tied to certain objects. These are their quote treasure. The treasure and can sometimes be integrated into their very own body. Very own body as a part. When a reinforced. So actually, we don't need that because again, it's just kind of like what they are. So maximum action points are pretty standard. Initial deployment, name and age. We don't really have to worry about that. Fetters. So fetters. Robots have traditional fetters. Traditional fetters. However, due to robotic madness being more akin to a cold and calculating point of view fetters tied to individuals. Fetters tied to individuals. how do I want to do this? Actually, so fetters tied to individuals can only be one of three. Can only be one of three. So we need to select. We need to go here. We need to go to this tool. We need to do select tool. We need to select everything here. Control C. We need to go here. And nope, you're not going to let me do that. It's cool. Let's go instead to the Nechronica wiki. Yay! Nechronica wiki. So we need to go to... We have to go there. We have to select you there. And then we have to do... it's going to be 1, 2, or 3. 2, 3, 1, 2, or 3, which is useful. Useful. The target of this, actually, you feel as if this individual can be useful to you for now. Reassess needs. Are you really necessary? During combat. During combat, actually, what we can do actually is hit the fetter instead if they are within range. Like, are you really necessary? Are you actually like needed? Have a vague recollection. Or are they tied, or are they just a fragment of someone else? And that's... what would be a good one there? So we're going to do delusions. See, I can't even remember who I am. And delusions are going to do during combat. They're pretty much going to get this one. It's a little bit different. The context is a little bit different, but so, and this one is going to be useful. They remind you of a memory, or they are going to be valuable. You feel as if this individual feels if this individual has value to your core programming. Value to your core programming, allowing you to. They are the key to your success. They're the key to your success. Useless. Useless creatures. They're not going to be delusions because delusions are an average delusion enjoyer. So that's going to be, where is... let's see. We need to do ubiquitous sympathy. Okay, your maximum action points decreased by... There we go. Pretty much you succumb to your own ego. Pretty much you... That feel when a robot can kill you using their love, their anger, and all of their sorrow. Alright, so these three, we're going to put this like here because apparently these fucking charts are written by Gibbons. We want to select you, copy paste you right in here. In a second. Camille. Let's do heading 3. Yeah, like, bots are pretty simple to make. They aren't really that complex. The only issue is that they're very expensive to take. Like, you gotta be kind of smart how you play them. They get a lot of free armor and stuff, but the problem is, like, it's slowly, like... You are not going to last very long if you play stupid. Let's just say that. So we want to delete this column. We want to take you and go all the way out. And then we need to do this. Do this. And I need to go to table properties, vertical alignment middle. Let's do black on black. And table alignment center. There we go. Technically, we need to do that again because apparently they didn't do what they needed to do. There we go. Alright, so we got 2 done. We got Robotic Entities and we got Abominations done. And so on Friday, my goal is to... I want to get the rest of these done. I want to get non-human auxiliary troops and Battalion Z. Battalion Z is going to be pretty simple because it's going to be a lot more about writing with that one, just like getting everything into place. The non-human entities, it's... Hey, sometimes I was focused, man. I get focused sometimes, and I want to write things down. So let's see. There is... Oh, fuck. Oh, damn shoulder. So pretty much we only have 2 more to really do, and once those are done, we're pretty much done with the guided dolls. I don't think it's going to take too long on Friday. It's mostly going to be trying to wrap up the non-human auxiliary troops. That's going to be the complicated one because I have to account for the fact that I have to make it so that you can be large animals, small animals, and other things like that, which you don't think is important. You don't think is really that odd until you realize, like, dogs don't have thumbs, and then it's like, oh, well, of course, yeah, this fucking dog doesn't got a fucking thumb. What the dog doing? But the dog got a gun. So it's like, all right, we gotta fix that. That shouldn't be too complicated. Battalion Z is gonna be really easy though, because it's like these are adults, and you have a very certain thing to do. They're going to have a special skill, and they're going to have a pretty common special skill that I want them to spam constantly, that they're always going to be using. And they also are going to have one unique part, kind of similar to how robots operate, but they're going to pretty much have their, refusal to die part, which is like, I just don't want to die because I already have purpose and I want to kill you. And that's what's going to be constantly getting removed. So, that is that. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm going to call it there. Maybe other things will get added. Maybe not. I don't know yet. So, I'm going to call it there. Godspeed. Good luck. If you need me, you know where to reach me. And I will see you all on Friday. So...